Hello. Hello.
Yeah, this is the last time of interviewing with Minsu Kim. Yeah, he's the urban policy advisors in the several Korean cities, and we have been meeting with him last four times.
Yep.
And this is the fifth time and the final meeting with the Asia Vision Forum. How has you been?
I mean, I've been good, and thank you very much for having me again. And this will be my last time. And we've talked about four major Asian cities, including Singapore, Jakarta, and Thailand, Bangkok, and so on, throughout probably past 3 months.
Yes,
and
months.
It was really fun and enjoyable, and then had obviously gave me lots of opportunity for me individually to study more. And I heard several obviously positive response, but then more ideas to get rectified. But we will work harder to study. Thank you very much. Today, today I'm here
I think
for the
it is
last
very
time.
impressive for me because you looks very younger than any other the police advisors. But you've been experiencing and living so many Asian mega cities.
Oh yeah. I would say so. Whole of my life was like with ASEAN. For basically, I lived in 5 cities in ASEAN for 12 years. So apart from that, I lived in America and UK, but all 12 years in ASEAN, including Singapore, Jakarta. I lived there more than 3 years for each city. So I have a relatively better understanding than the others about the city. And of course, I speak Bahasa Indonesia too. And then I have cultural and urban knowledge too. And personally, I came from private construction industry I shifted my career to government side. So it'll be very obviously I need to obviously push forward more, but it's obviously happy to start off this kind of discourse.
Yeah, I think it is very important for us because recently the interest on the Asian big cities in the Korea society is growing.
Yeah.
Growing, it's gradually growing because many Korean people has many experience to go outside, and especially Southeast Asian cities, and also hope to live in there for a long time.
True.
So and also the industrial connection is enhancing and stronger than before. So I think the Asian mega cities is very important. Understanding these cities. So
absolutely.
Your vision and your perspective, how to approach the Asian mega cities and how to understand, especially the construction side. Yeah, it's very important.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the bullseye. People do not really know about. I mean, people go to cities in ASEAN partner countries, but people do not really know how to scrutinize and how to understand like really detailed side of the construction business, and of course urban planning policy and how their financial structure and their economy and how people think about their cities and how cities has been structured. I don't think not many people are expert on this, and up until now, not many people were much interested in selling their, manufacturing goods in Asia. But from now on, and obviously for more decades, we'll definitely have more specialists about each, subtle parts of area, even within urban development side too, academically or in government or private sector. Regardless.
So we already just talked about Jakarta, Singapore, and Kuala Lumpur.
We did.
So today you bring the Hanoi and the near district, northern Vietnam mega cities.
Northern Vietnam, northern part.
Hanoi and the near district.
Last but not least.
Have you been there?
Yeah, of course. I worked there in 2015 to 16. I lived in Hanoi, and my family also dwelled in Hanoi too. And I was in the seashore part, but anyways, today we're talking about very interesting news has been released a couple of months ago. I think this November, so like a couple of months ago, that Korean government developed a program called UGPP, Urban Growth Partnership Program, with the Vietnamese government in Bac Ninh City, which is, if you look at the map, then if Hanoi is here, it's like 30 to 35 kilometers far away from northern part of the small satellite city called, not small because it's relatively, pretty popular city called Bac Ninh. Then they call that Dongnam City project, and South Korean government is pushing through a partnership program with Vietnamese government to facilitate Korean-style new cities like Bun Dang or Pangyo or Dong Tan in Vietnam. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
방인 신도시.
Or Dongnam Sindoshi.
Yes. As we already know, the new city, 신도시 project is, the Korean people are very enthusiastic
Absolutely.
for these terms and notions. 신도시.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are dreaming always.
Well, today is our last session, so we can talk about the history of Shindoshi for really short. But many people think that 1989, that was the first generation Shindoshi, new city project in Korea, but that's not true. Actually, there was like zero generation Shindoshi has been built here and there, scattered. Like for example, Gwangju in Gyeonggi-do, that's like suburb outskirts of Gyeonggi-do, has already been facilitated in 70s, and Eunpyeonggu or like Susek in 70s, 80s. But then new city project itself has been justified legitimately in urban planning in Korea since early 1990s. Of course, with the first generation Sindoshi like Bundang, yeah. And there were Korean government is now trying to, I won't say sell it, but then do consultation with the Vietnamese government in one of the economically rapidly growing city called Bac Ninh, in where Samsung electronics factory is. I've been there too. Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about the 방린 동남 신도시, led by Korean government, including such as the 국토부 and the LH,
Land Housing Corp.
The news released just 6 months ago. Yeah, very largely most of the Korean news agencies released from the Vietnam, Hanoi.
Yeah.
방민 동남 신도시. Yeah, I think it is a result of the Yoon president and the Korean government and Vietnam government relationship and the dialogue, right?
Yeah, at that time, Premier Phuc wasn't an incumbent, but anyways, yeah, in the, of course, we're aligned with. So, according to the news release, says that this. I read Vietnamese press and Korean press, but they say they're gonna facilitate the basically residential area plus industrial complex, which is tantamount a size with. I'm talking about size-wise in Bac Ninh, like the size of Pangyo. It's like about 4 point something million large square meters, which is like if you say like a tenth of London, size of a tenth of London of zone 1 and 2, maybe like Yeouido size, yeah, slightly smaller than that. And they haven't released and they haven't officially set the proclaim the amount of the whole capacity of the lease or lotting plan, but then they say they're gonna do consultation, and then some of the major Korean construction EPC stands for engineering, procurement, and construction companies like Hyundai Construction and those kind of people will work together with Vietnamese government, with, as you said, Ministry of transport and land and infrastructure, and LH is a state-owned company in Korea called Land Housing Corp. And there's another key player called KIND, Korean Infrastructure Development Company. So all these state-owned company and Korean government will push through the new city in Vietnamese land itself. But the question is, how and where are you gonna get the procure the money from in such tough economic situation? That's the question mark. I mean, the plan itself is all fancy, it's glass, but the thing is, where are you gonna procure the money from? As far as I know, Hanoi's population is about 8 million, and Bac Ninh is like 230 to 250. And of course, they are looking at the bright future because, of course, they say, oh, Bac Ninh will be a new industrialization, key of the industrialization, which means including, fabs, semiconductors, and of course, future like autonomous driving center will be there. But that's like, plan itself. But flag bearers love to say that, but we need to discrete the reality and the reality and then the actual plan itself, because Vietnam has been doing well after doing more their reformation project, but last year they weren't very good in terms of GDP growth, but their GDP is still like $450 billion, which is like a quarter of Korea. But then probably Korean government or organization thought in this way that since Korean construction business is plunging like so bad, so they will open this project financing as another way of making a good exit program in overseas. And then they look at they probably thought that the chronological background as in year of 2000 in Korea, when they started the second generation city in Pangyo, where everybody thought that they will fail, but then they make a dramatically good success in terms of urban development itself, because year of 2000, Korean GDP was similar to Vietnamese GDP, not calculating NPV, net present value, and then we had slightly larger economic growth rate. However, now is 2000, we're heading to 2025, and we need to question ourselves that really will it work? And most importantly, Vietnam is not a country that allows personal or foreigners to actually wholly own your private land parcel itself, unlike in Korea or Singapore or America. So that's the question mark. And so far, each side, Vietnamese government and Korean government, haven't actually actualized the plan itself. So the quite big question mark, left behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just gave lots of question mark.
Yeah, because nobody told about the actual business plan itself.
We go step by step.
Okay, sure.
First of all, based on the news information about Bac Ninh 신도시, it is very close to the center of the Hanoi.
Yep.
Only 30 kilometers.
30, yeah.
Yeah, located in northeast.
Many Koreans know that city because of Samsung factory.
Just near that, the site of the new 신도시, the Samsung-전자, Bac Ninh factory is only 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
So,
huge factory.
So many news leaders just assume that this site might be the next Korean town.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Korean factories, so many is near there. So Korea 신도시 seemed required.
True.
Yeah. So, and also Korean people believe that we are very strong at the 신도시 developing industry, right? So, and also many Korea government hope to export 신도시 business to Southeast Asia, including the Indonesia, Vietnam, because they need something like that. But you raised the question.
Yeah.
So what is the main issue?
I mean, simple. how 신도시 or whatsoever new city urban development project has been successful is simple. Your land. Or your share of your land. No matter how small that is. So how we do construction? Easy. You have land that has relatively undervalued in terms of appraisal value, and then in terms, if you're a developer in Korea, you pre-sale that. So, okay, we're gonna build a luxurious apartment and residential area, and I'll give you a little bit of share. If you invest now, then in the future term, then you get more money, then you can, pay back your loan. That's simple system. That's the reason why Korean new city or whatsoever urban development system has been so successful, because people had admired, and people know that, because you're not the only one, government has share too, railway company has too, shopping mall has too, I have too. So many stakeholders actually get involved in that city. So that's the powerhouse of the successful factor of the new city. But will it work likewise in Korea, in Vietnam? That's a question mark, because you can own a private land parcel. That's written in Vietnamese constitution. No. And number two, if that was so successful, seemed to be so, nice, plausible project, that, Vin Homes, right? Vin Homes, or like, Nam Long Group, like those kind of, major player developers in Vietnam, or like China, they have, economically very close relationship with Vietnam too, like companies or other huge players too, or Japanese one. Why nobody has, nobody even bid for that? This is like called UGPP program is like, I don't know who actually named that, probably Korean government or some other researcher, but I'm not trying to say something bad to these guys, but urban growth partnership program. So how are you going to get the partnership from? Why Korean construction companies are happy with that? Because they are so hard to procure their monetary status right now, and they want to actually deduct their at least mitigate their that status right now, but they don't actually, I don't think they're really interested in that, because if they're really interested in that, they say, I'll talk about that later, but
okay.
I mean, they gave an example that Singapore, Las Vegas LSV did the project of Marina Bay, so we can do like that. But American developers has lots of money. For example, like Brookfield Asset Company, or like John Lascelles or CBRE in the UK. Those companies have like a huge amount of money that they don't even care about losing money that much. And Singapore is relatively a more privatized. It's completely discrete situation like in Vietnam. So they're making this kind of illogical, everything has to be like synthesis. So everything has to be go by consequentially. But this makes no sense, because nobody has invested yet, and then the plan has not been released yet. And who's going to develop that invest money for a house that you can actually get guaranteed your share in Vietnam? That's very risky project, I would say.
So you mean
Yes.
the overseas construction business and exporting the Sindoshi model is totally different, and
Absolutely.
money making is totally also different.
I mean, we had meaningful success in Iraq, Bismaya project, but that's mainly Hanwha company is doing that, and Hyundai railway company is building a metro. And a friend of mine, Iraqi friend of mine, actually told me about the progress too, but that's okay. And another case is what we have done in Ulaanbaatar in Mongol. With the Emart and then several apartments. But these kind of projects are completely different in size and amount of procurement. And Vietnam is not such an easy country because their socialist economy is still strong. And I don't think this has to be a very sensitive issue. And then we need more research before we just release this project to the overseas. I mean to the press.
But we already experienced the 신도시 exporting to Iraq.
Iraq.
Gansol.
Yeah, I just
we
said
already
that.
knew that this company had a lot of money buying this. No?
We did it. I said Bismarck project, railway by Hyundai, and then apartment, urban development by Hanwha. But the problem is Iraqi UIA request. I'm not so sure I can say that confidentiality, but there are decision makers that actually really wanted these companies, Korean government or Korean technology, to come into Iraq and then make Baghdad and of course Bismarck more developed in terms of urban planning perspective, and they had their demand too, and then that's completely different story because Vietnamese project is like this. Okay, it's not like Vietnamese government really want Korea to do pre-sale business and then housing development business and then
선분양.
yeah, that's a Korean style doing. But
선분양 is impossible.
yeah, who can guarantee? Who can guarantee by the
LH is a big company.
LH is Korean state-owned company, and then can they really have legal right? Do they have legal rights to fight against?
Pre-sale is impossible. So many. It requires
Okay.
a lot of PF money.
Exactly project financing, but it's simple. Real estate is one of the representative domestic business, and especially if you think about urban development planning project, it's very domestic.
Domestic.
It's domestic. You know why? Because it's not tax-free business. Real estate is one of the representative business of the tax-free business.
How about Songdo? Songdo is invested by the American company.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they're saying. Okay, Donald Trump built the invested apartment in Yeouido and Busan Haeundae, and Songdo, of course, a Chinese company, of course, there are many inbound successful history because we are a capitalist market system. We follow that, and then our law is very solid, and our market economy system is solid, but will it work the other side, vice versa? Will it work like that, just like that in the overseas? We have never experienced that. Then why won't, as I said, major players say Brookfield Asset Management or like JLL or CBRE, all those kind of huge, development, CBRE, those kind of companies do not even care about that, or China. And number two, geopolitically too. Okay, hypothetically speaking, we have built success in this Dongnam City project in Vietnam. Then do we really get, can we actually get guaranteed certain minimum, rate of revenue guarantee from Vietnamese government? No. This is just because no one has the ownership of the apartment and then the structure and land itself in terms of our perspective. So inbound and outbound are discrete different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's first glance is plausible, but in the real business side, is nothing. There's nothing to gain.
I would say if there has to be something to gain, then they will definitely. Korean government is very good at that. They will definitely release their specific, business plan apart from project finance. Like 30% down payment will be procured, and then don't care about net present value, and then don't care about EBITDA, don't care about depreciation. We'll invest this money because Vietnamese GDP will grow. That's such a naive notion of thinking that say Vietnam will grow in 10 years, they will become of course richer. Then is there any correlations between investor Korea, for example, Kind is doing horribly bad. They established in 2018, but I'm sorry to say this, but their sea levels are the retired people from other construction company, and they still think in this anachronistic way they've done in 60s, not 60s, but now 70s, 80s in overseas construction business itself. It's completely different, but why they mix and jumble this kind of wicked knowledge, and then they make urban program. So Korea is good in New City, it will work in Vietnam because we have Samsung, and Vietnam will grow. No, Vietnam is not such an easy country. I mean, you don't just jump in the bandwagon like that.
Okay.
It's different from building a skyscraper. It works. Yeah.
Skyscraper.
It works. That's a business like business. Yeah, but this is not. At least to me.
But in my memories, every Korean government since the 노무현, 이명박, and 박근혜, every Korean government always mentioned the 신도시 exporting to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So they bring the image of it's very positive business with a collaboration item with the Southeast Asian government. But basically, it has lots of questions.
I mean, no one has made good success yet.
Yeah, no.
I mean, personally, I think why this time they're trying to make this such a huge, large, ambiguous project in Vietnam, because their real estate business or construction business in Indonesia, they lost their way in Indonesia, so they thought, okay, we can't make money anymore in Indonesia. Then, okay, take our glance back. Oh, Vietnam, that sounds easier. No, Vietnam is not an easy country. I mean, in ABF we have many Vietnamese experts, like Mr. Yu or more, so and more. But Vietnam is not such a not an easy country that you can. They have their solid, historically since South Vietnam and North Vietnam. Historically, it's not an easy project, and how are you going to get the return from, how are you going to calculate the dividends, and how are you going to do pre-sales business in Bac Ninh, and how do you know that their laborers and foreigners will, live in Bac Ninh? They say they're going to get, what, $330 billion after 10 years? That's an absurdity. That makes no sense. That's so absurd. And number two, not many people know about this, but people in Vietnam, everybody knows this. I think last year or earlier this year, there's, I won't say the real name of this company, but the company name is okay, like Bantit Pat Company. It's a real estate developer. Leader got, was sentenced to death because of the fraud case. Bill fraud, huge bill fraud, yeah. Huge in Vietnamese court.
사기.
Yeah.
사기 부패에서, yeah. So,
Sentenced to death.
Okay.
사형 선고 받았어요.
Okay. But in my
That
memories
chairman
and
lady.
images,
Yeah.
how about in the technology side?
I mean, it's not easy.
3 years ago,
Yeah.
I thought that Korea is stronger than any other third world countries, such as the transportations and ubiquitous and the telecommunication and internet infrastructure, and this all mixed technology into the new 신도시 developing something like that. I think it is a stronger than. So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I got it. So that's their line of thought. 25 years ago, our GDP is like Vietnam, and our condition was like Vietnam, and our growth was 8%. Vietnam is like 5 to 8%. They're good, and then smart city, we're good at it. So this is so simple line of thoughts. No, but what did they have in 2000? Do you remember IT bubbles? So that's like the right good momentum for Korea to, so basic construction site and good labor, high quality of labor, and our technology made a final equilibrium point, that critical point, get bombarded, and then we made better new city projects in our economy again. And of course, everything got eventually developed. But then it's very hard for, it's very hard to invest actual money and get loan, and the Korean government said LH or kind, they say they're gonna get loans from Korean bank, financial institute, but I'm not so sure if that will work in overseas, because banks are not stupid, they're smartest guys, and then they really care about the book value, and then can you really get this money returned from? Remember 2016, 2018, do you know that dam get collapsed in Laos? Yeah. What happened after that?
So
We failed to, nobody could even start to kick off a business in Laos. Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but this is reality. It's not easy.
So Korean construction wave is 건설하려고.
It's so embarrassed because construction has. I mean, construction is construction, and project finance is project finance.
Okay.
It's not like Vietnamese like people or governmental officers. Oh, Korea, they build good apartments. So okay, we'll lend you some money, and you take some returns, and dividends will be secure. No, that's such a naive thing. And then I'm sure that the real people sitting down there in the government, they know about this thing. But then, of course, there are no options. You know why? Because bureaucrats now. They don't have expertise in construction, and they don't know about the country itself, and they don't know how to negotiate with these people. With the for example, I was so surprised that they don't even know what MOQ is. They don't even know how to do quantity surveying. Unlike 20 years ago, Korean government officers were smart, but now I won't say they're incompetent, but then they don't know what's going on about this. They only know about the papers. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I think the LH is a 주택 토공,
Yep.
주공 and 토공 is a LH. LH. I think it has a lot of serious problem, and so they hope to just hide their something inside issues by using these export.
Absolutely. Because I mean, 25 years ago, people were enthusiasm. People in LH, LH, they moved their office to Pundan, where the new city. Now they're in Jinju, far away. But then, if they really want to kick off this project, and if they really want to earn money, like they say, LVS, then LH or kind, especially kind people. I don't even know what the hell you guys doing, but these people need to open an office or any kind of contact point in Bangnin, and then they need to start business. But then all I read is that they signed an MOU project with construction companies, and that was like a single event, and then no any other news, or I can't find any research data, though I talked to those relevant officers. So this is pathetic. You can't just do business like that so irresponsibly. Then what will Chinese company will think? Okay, why don't we take this down after they failed out? That's exactly what happened in LCT Tower in Busan. Because you have to be responsible in construction. So then you can earn more money. Because your project is good, then you can value up your project, and you can, of course, release more bonds, and that's how construction business works. But people in the Korean government, they do not know about that. I'm so sad that they don't know about the site itself, and they don't know how to negotiate. Because I think Vietnamese government officers will be even smarter than Koreans. Maybe they're like tickling and they're playing out with these Korean people. I'm very sad with that. This will not be a growth partnership, but then this will be just a event partnership, because we love that they don't.
It's a little different question. How about your idea on the Korean industry complex in Vietnam and Myanmar and Indonesia?
I mean, that's their background knowledge that they have. They say they made a success. Okay, so Bangin is here, and there's another city. Then they said green cluster complex, industrial complex. Well, Vietnam wants highly advanced technologies, semiconductor. I mean Vietnamese, government. They want to jump. They don't want to do secondary business anymore. I mean, of course they have to carry on, but then they want to push forward. They want to make a quantum jump. But then we want to give them day by day, step by step, that we have experienced. Do you think that will work in 2025? They want to have semiconductor, even more advanced one than us. But then their technology is, of course, far away from us. So they are just finding right partners like China.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vietnam is the Korean technology and the foreign direct investment a lot.
Absolutely.
Especially in the high technology, including the semiconductors and AI and the data center, something like that. The Korean companies. How about the 3D?
Okay. Very.
3D 산업. 산업 means 3D company, 3D industry. including the iron, the kind of
You mean very like labor-driven business?
labor-driven industry.
Yeah.
So the Korean 중소기업,
Small and medium-sized companies.
companies, they cooperate with each other, and so they need some the Korean industry complex.
This is very good point.
Yeah, but it is very hard to come together in the one side. Yeah.
Korea's, I think, the key reason how Korean industrial complex or our conglomerate system has made such a huge success through 20th and 21st century is because our partnership. I know there are a lot of people have critical views about this, but then Korea is absolutely one of the wonderful partner after Japan, or even that, contractors and subcontractors and their partners are actually making symbiotic relationship between. So, they say that, vertical relationship, so you can't do anything to, for example, Hyundai or a company. But then I think this is one of the key factors that Korean economy could, push forward in a very fast, period. But Vietnam, no. There is no partnership like in Korea. This is so short because people who lived in Vietnam or do business in Vietnam, their major concern is that why is it so hard to find partners and why partners shut down every day? You know how many real estate companies shut down in 2024 in Vietnam? 1,300 companies.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean this is just very strength of Korean and Japanese business, but it doesn't, not necessarily in Vietnam. So even Vietnamese government is also concerned that, okay, even GDP per capita is like $4,500 in Vietnam, but we were in 2000, let's scrap out MPV, we were like over 10,000. So actually our economic potential and of course futures were brighter than that of theirs now. So it's very sensitive issue, but you can't just take those two in parallel. But I'm not saying economy itself, but then at least in construction or development business, domestic takes huge, especially a company where socialist market is located. I mean, wrote it down deeply, and it works.
So, based on the project plan, the 방민 신도시 project, from 2025 to 2060. Almost 35 years.
Okay. I mean,
so amazing, huge. But the project, the amount of the financial amount is very little. Only 4조 6천억 원.
Sorry, but I mean, yeah, it's
4조 6천억 원.
It's absurd.
35 years. Oh my God.
So you earn $4 billion within 35 years. Okay. Well, I mean, there will be like 200 better ways we can invest more, get
it's
more invest.
nonsense.
And even even in Korean Assembly, National Assembly, there's huge, critical views about KIND, the state-owned company, and how Korean governmental, bureaucrats get so. I'm sorry, but they're losing their edge. Why? Because they have never experienced the real construction. They have never, interact with those people in private. Then they do paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll just end it up here. Okay, 35 years and $3 billion. Come on. Just buy any cryptocurrency or invest in the Korean. I will rather invest in Korean Kospi market.
So, but anyway, this information give inspiration to the Korean investors.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because if that happened 5 years ago or 7 years ago, it will be even more, bombarded. But now, as of now, there are not many even but people are like it on blogs or there are so many blogs in Korea like Reddit. But no, because even people think that that's not possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember from since 2017, 2018.
Oh, that was good period for
Many Korean investors, especially live in the Southeast Asia.
in Vietnam. They
went to the
purchased so many.
Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh to
Yeah.
buy the condos. in
Absolutely.
there.
For example, Hanoi, Mi Ding Songda, and then like Lotte, those kind of like
Just
luxury.
boom.
I mean, I lived there too,
Yeah.
personally, but it was good. But then the thing is, can we actually make stable, like money throughout at least 5 to 10 years? I won't say 60 years or 40 years, but can we sell this?
Oh, it's impossible.
Yeah, and okay, you have to find another foreigners, a very affluent Vietnamese family to give another rent.
Yeah.
But is it easy right now?
I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah.
And number two, how many house units will be facilitated in Dongnam City project? Then that means Bac Ninh has to be highly populous than now. Population has to be tripled or even more. But who made that assertion? Who can guarantee? I mean, Vietnam is a huge country, 1,700 kilometers vertically. Saigon, Da Nang, there's so many good cities, and then they have so many alternatives, unlike like Korea. And then what if Vietnamese government or people think that, maybe Bac Ninh is not a right city, we can move to Haiphong and then Haiphong will be enhanced more, then we're losing every money. This is such a stupid assertion that you don't have to select one city and then do everything. But I know why though, but then it's nonsense, it's preposterous. Yeah.
So Bac Ninh and Hưng
Hưng clean,
Yeah.
industrial complex was like,
still a lot of the global investors are focusing on this area. Yeah.
well, Vietnamese and Korean investors, I would say.
Yeah.
And Vietnamese governments are smart. I mean, because they are very good upper hand with China too. Because Chinese development company has, they're a lot more stable in terms of money than us. And of course, Japan too. Japan do a lot of, they have huge experience in overseas real estate development. But then what happened? Like, I think I read like a week ago, and then I actually spoke to this guy in Aegis Investment, Aegis Asset Management Company. Aegis doesn't know. They bought a building in Germany like a couple of years ago, owned by SL Green Company, and they lost lots of millions of, lots of money. So their fiscal status got done. So they just jumped on the bandwagon. But Bank of Korea bought a good building in New York, and Korean Air bought a good building in St. James's Park, where you have Buckingham Palace right now, Marble Arch. In London, back in old days, that's a right, property investment. Urban development is such a huge thing that you can't, foreign government can, do cooperation. And of course, that's the reason why they can't give right answer and then no specific plan, even district plan, nothing.
Typical. So you never recommend to the people.
If I were a person who is in charge of the government, I wouldn't even make this, absolutely proposal. No, because I haven't seen, LOI letters. Is there LOI letter of intent letters? No.
Okay.
Pre-qualification, bond, secure, papers? No, nothing.
I remember 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The 경남 기업.
ASEAN. Yeah.
경남 기업 had a huge mega project in the.
Yeah.
So very tall buildings.
Gangnam Tower. Yeah.
But,
I know where there is.
But they disrupt.
Well, I mean, so I said no. That's relatively okay. Daewoo, Lotte, Gyeongnam in Hanoi, they're okay because I said skyscrapers or landmark business is okay because you don't lose that much of money. Even though it just investment lost money from a building in Germany, that's not like huge critical damage to their company, right? But urban development company, okay. Who's going to be responsible for this? Where's the liability, monetary, fiscal liability, be secured by? Who's gonna, be in charge of this losses? Well, 60 years, then maybe yes. Korea has been 70 something years.
Okay. Okay, skyscraper project is probably plausible
Exactly.
than
아니,
the 신도시 exporting.
I was going to say one sentence in Korea. 저희가 대한민국이 어쨌든 이제 뭐 사람마다 다르지만 이제 건국 70, 80주년 뭐 이렇지 않습니까? 그래서 어쨌든 60년이면
It's crazy in English.
okay. This preposterous thing.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we have to be very careful when we contact the news
Absolutely.
about the 신도시 exporting
Yes.
to the Southeast Asia
Yeah.
and the Middle East
Yeah.
and the South America K model.
Yeah. Unless their government is assured,
Yeah.
like in Iraq, that's different thing. That's relatively okay thing with the railway thingy. So infrastructure is like that. You know, there are still many people working to build the high-speed
Okay.
metro.
Infrastructures like a railway, the construction port and the air.
Or even apartments,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah,
Ulaanbaatar.
it's okay.
Absolutely
Yeah,
fine.
but 신도시 is very ambiguous.
Because real estate is the
real
best
estate,
tax business.
Real estate is a cannot we buy and own it.
No, especially in socialist market, one of the representative emerging socialist market.
So the proper interest and proper benefit is very difficult to get from that.
I think we're looking down at Vietnamese people. We means people who make decisions in Korean government. They're not so easy people as you think.
Yeah.
No. They're not. They're not easy. There are professional like us too.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like 60년대, 60s in Korea. No. They're following the trend and they're, monetary. Vietnamese, I want to ask back, have you ever take a look at the Vietnamese stock market for those guys? I won't say 8 or 9 out of those 10, these people have never even cared about that.
Yeah.
You don't make policy like that, especially you don't know about the sites or economy or construction business itself. You can't just, mix and jumble stuff like that. This is so overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Every Asian countries, people and government and company don't lose the money inside their
Absolutely.
to the
Absolutely.
foreigners.
No. ASEAN is not an easy region.
They don't
No,
lose.
and each country and province varies from province. Their policy is different.
Yeah.
So probably we have to have more experience, and of course we have to do more studies, like professional studies. Like for example, like Asia Vision Forum is one of the representative, institute too. But we have those kind of people have to study more with the government, and then we can start this business step by step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the last time visit to the Asia Vision Forum.
Thank you very much.
What's your next plan, especially in 2025?
Oh, I would have to report back to my office, and then last but not least, thank you very much, and I was really pleased, and I'm so happy to have be part of member of AVF, and thank you, Dr. Ho-jae and Chairman Kim too, and all other fellows of AVF. Appreciate it. 감사합니다. 예.
Thank you.
고맙습니다.